All right, so we are back at it. This is the best of seven sports talk, and Kyrie Irving is now eligible to play home games. About 10 games left in the regular season in the NBA. Kyrie just got the green light to play the rest of the home games throughout the remainder of the year, including the playoffs. So, congrats to Kyrie. He's able to ball out, no resistance at this point. I believe the first game he's going to be able to play at home, I believe, will be on Sunday. Now, what does this actually mean when we look at the angle of the NBA and who's projected to win and this, that, and the third? Does Kyrie getting the green light at home give the Nets more conviction or more of an advantage to win the NBA Finals or at least to make it? I just don't see it that way. The importance of having Kyrie on the court is big time. But if you would have asked me this year at the beginning of the season, which I'd already predicted, but before James Harden came into play, does Brooklyn have enough to win the championship? I would have told you no. Yes, KD and Kyrie are two of the best in the game, but that's not going to be enough. And in reality, this is what you have at this point because Ben Simmons is not going to be playing. I don't see Ben Simmons ever playing in the Brooklyn Nets uniform. D Money and myself, we talked about that a couple of days ago. So what you have now is back to the drawing board of having Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Now, when these two first linked, we had injuries involved, this, that, and the third. So it started off rocky and shaky. They grabbed James Harden as a bonus because he was out there, and that's really was the key to maximize their chances. And I still didn't think they was going to win the championship because of the lack of defensive presence that the team has. But that's besides the point. Kyrie is good to see him back playing home, but I'm not shooting Brooklyn up to the top spot in the East. Top three. It's going to be tough to beat them in the playoffs. 7-game series, deep in the playoffs, game sevens. It's going to be tough to beat Brooklyn. But because of their role players, I'm not sold on those guys. And I don't think that Brooklyn has enough to beat the Milwaukees, to beat the Philadelphias in 7 games. Now, Miami, I'm concerned about. I picked the Lakers in Miami to go to the finals this year. I'll talk about my Lakers later on, but after what I saw last night from the Heat with Jimmy Butler, Eric Spoelstra, and Udonis Haslem, there's only 2 ways to go when it comes to Miami. It's straight up or down now. That situation that happened last night is either going to tear the team apart or bring them closer together. What we do know is Jimmy Butler has a track record of having a short shelf life, if you want to say, when it comes to these teams. You look at Chicago, Minnesota, Philadelphia. So I don't know if Miami's going to be able to hold that top spot. They just lost to Golden State. They just lost to Philadelphia. Without Embiid, without Harden, without Klay Thompson, Draymond, and Steph, Miami still lost those games. And they are a defensive presence as far as a team. So I don't know about the Heat. I'm not going to go against the grain right now. They're still going to be my pick to come out the East. Kyrie does pose a little bit of a threat, but Brooklyn can't stop nobody. Just as much as they can score, who is Brooklyn going to stop? The role players that they have, y'all forgot. They're not those guys. Blake Griffin is not that guy. One of the most athletic guys we've seen in the league, maybe ever in history. But we read that book before on Blake Griffin. LaMarcus Aldridge, we read that book before. I'm not saying those guys are bums. None of these guys are bums. There's only a handful of jobs if you're a professional basketball player. But when we are comparing them to their peers and to the other elites, Blake Griffin not making or breaking any franchise. He had his chance. Couple times some will argue. LaMarcus Aldridge, when he ran away from Dame in Portland, he just let me know that in my eyes, and I got to go back to see how that thing went down, but he turned his back on him. So I never really was a fan of him. He's not dependable. He's just coming back, matter of fact. He kind of, So I don't know. We can sit up here and praise and go hooray for Kyrie coming back to Brooklyn, but at the end of the day, man, this is still a lot of basketball to be played. Kyrie's going to be dangerous. Kevin Durant is going to be dangerous. But are they going to play 48 minutes for 4 out of 7 games, possibly 7 games in each round? Hell no. They're going to need some help. Losing James Harden may come back to haunt them. Look where Brooklyn at in the standings. The Eastern Conference, even though it doesn't seem like there's a team that's running away, it's a lot of squads with winning records. Cleveland and I don't think those guys are going to match up well with Brooklyn. So once we get into the playoffs, I don't want to argue with someone that all bets not off, because I don't see these guys with good records now being able to beat Kevin Durant and Kyrie in 7 games. Unless they run into the likes of a Boston. I could see Jason Tatum. Really coming out of his shell. Giannis had his opportunity last year. He capitalized and did it. Why not Jason Tatum and them guys in Boston? I don't know if Brooklyn want to face Boston in 7. Giannis. Look how Giannis is playing. Defending champion. I don't know if they want to see them. So don't sit up here and just try to sell me on a simple fact that because Kyrie Irving is able to play some home games, the Brooklyn Nets are favored to get the Larry O'Brien trophy or make it to the NBA Finals. Scrub Zero said they got enough pieces to win. They just need to play games together. You don't listen. This is the argument that we done had for the Brooklyn Nets for 2 seasons now. Let's be honest. We've been talking about chemistry when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets, whether it was just Kevin Durant and Kyrie, because remember, KD was hurt at first. Then when they picked up James Harden, those guys only played like 11 to 13 games together. We've been talking about guys gelling together this whole existence, basically, when we talk about Kyrie and KD in Brooklyn. Boston got to show if they can get it done in the playoffs. I agree. But there's a lot of teams that got to show and prove. Look at the Phoenix Suns. Are you going to say the Phoenix Suns don't have nothing to prove? They went to the finals last year. They came up short. They pretty much ran away with the number 1 seed in the Western Conference all season this year without Chris Paul. Phoenix got something to prove. LeBron and the Lakers, if they're able to make the play-in and somehow able to squeeze into the playoffs, you got Melo and Russ and Dwight Howard and AD, hopefully. It's a lot of teams that got some things to prove. Boston is definitely going to have to show up. But it's just, to me, it's not a cakewalk because Kyrie back. I didn't even mention the Chicago Bulls. So, I don't want to rain on Brooklyn's parade. I know they happy. That's blasphemous, Subscribe Zero. They don't need James Harden or Ben Simmons to do what? Make it to the finals. You think that, and I'm going to say Kevin Durant is healthy because he's been banged up. You think a healthy KD and a healthy Kyrie with the role players that they have on this team is good enough to make it to the finals without Ben Simmons or James Harden? That's what you're telling me. PA, I will be more than shocked. I've never been sold on Brooklyn making it to the finals, even with James. When they had those three, I said that in a 7-game series, when it gets down to it, defense wins championships in the NBA. This is not the NFL where any given Sunday, anything can happen and you can win a game, you can get an upset. When you got to study a team up to 7 times in the playoffs, the game slows down. It becomes more of a half-court game. Defense has to show a presence if you're going to win the Larry O'Brien trophy, and I didn't never seen that out of Brooklyn. So I've never been sold that Brooklyn could have won the championship. Now they don't have Harden, and Ben Simmons is clearly not going to be playing anytime soon. I just don't see what everybody else is seeing. So Scrub says that they're good enough to make the finals. No way. No way to me. Giannis in Milwaukee is clicking. Like I said, what happened in Miami last night is the only thing that really concerns me the most. That's the thing that scares me the most. I'll keep it a buck. All right, man. Peace to my NBA family. It's your host, Seven Mitchell, with the Best of Seven Sports Talk. I just wanted to take this time out to say thank you to each and every one of you guys for so much support for the podcast. I hope you guys are really enjoying some of the outside-the-box angles we take, bringing you in these NBA storylines. Please don't forget to like and share. Most importantly, rate the podcast. You can follow us on social media. All the links will be in the description. And if you would like to contribute to the Best of Seven Sports Talk platform, we have merchandise available, as well as links for the merch, and donations will be all in the description. Once again, thank each and every one of you guys in the NBA community for supporting the show. This is Seven Mitchell with the Best of Seven Sports Talk. Let's talk some NBA action. That's the only thing that I'm really worried about. Because what I saw Jimmy Butler do with Eric Spoelstra, I've never seen that before. I've